the world outside, the world of Maya, the world of sensual pleasures, has long, sticky arms that wrap us up, and it's very hard to extricate ourselves from that. And he's asking, there's so many different theories of how to be free, how to be extricated from this world of illusion. He said, but it doesn't seem like any of these theories are actually showing visible results. So what actually is the best way to pull ourselves out? When you are in one place and you want to go someplace else, there's two different ways you can look at it. If I'm in Rishikesh and I want to be in Delhi, two different mental constructs. One is I turn my back on Rishikesh and I use my energy focusing on pushing Rishikesh away. In my mind, all I'm thinking about is I gotta get far from Rishikesh. That's one way. The other way is I simply start moving toward Delhi. Inevitably, as I get closer to Delhi, I'm going to be farther from Rishikesh. The difference is that the first path is a path that doesn't work very well. And the reason is, it might work if we're just talking about little locations. When we're talking about spiritual places rather than physical places, the problem with trying to push ourselves away from something like the material world, the world of illusions, as you've said, this world of Maya, is, as you've noticed, it doesn't work very well. If we're focusing on that which I want to be free of, what am I focusing on? How can I possibly be free from something if all of my energy is focused on the fact that I want to be free from it? I'm still thinking about it. I'm still enveloped in it. My attention, my whole life. I should be free from this world of illusion. I should be free from this material world, this mundane world, the world of pleasures, the world of the senses. But every time I think about that, every bit of energy and focus I put on that is actually bringing me deeper into that world. So what's the answer? Well, why do we want to be free of that? That's the first thing to realize. Why be free? You asked your question as though it were already understood that we need to be free from this world of illusions. But the question really is, well, why? And the answer is because that world of just sensory pleasures, illusion, Maya, whatever we call it, keeps us from seeing the truth, keeps us from living in the truth, keeps us from that full, boundless awareness of the divinity within ourselves, the divinity in the world around us. So what the answer is I take my focus not onto pushing away the things of the world. Let them be. But my focus goes onto the world of the divine. Within myself, within the world around me, in a name or a form of the divine I'm worshiping. It doesn't matter how I'm doing it. When we talk about the word vairagya, which we tend to define in English as non-attachment. I always say I don't actually think that that's the correct English definition. Because non-attachment implies that we are just, A, focused on becoming unattached. B, you end up with complacency, indifference, apathy. And there is no spiritual path that says, thou shalt become apathetic. Thou shalt become indifferent, complacent. I think the real definition, if we had to take the Sanskrit of Vairagya and put it in English, is reattachment. What happens is we actually reattach ourselves to that which is divine, to that which is infinite, to that which is capital T true. Automatically then, things in this quote-unquote mundane world, the world of samsara, automatically dissipate. If you're walking down a beach and you collect seashells, because they're pretty, they're shiny, everybody around you is collecting seashells, and you're walking with them in your hands, and you get to the end of the beach and there's somebody at the end of the beach who's pouring diamonds, what are you going to do?
Diamonds should be picked up.
Well, but if your hands are full of seashells, what are you going to do with the seashells?
More valuable.
Which is more valuable?
Diamonds.
Right. So what will you do with the seashells? Let them go. Nobody at the end of the beach has to work with you about letting go of your attachment to the seashells. There's no mantra you need to become unattached to the seashells, because you've become reattached to the diamonds. You were able immediately to understand that which I'm being offered is of inherently more value than that which I'm holding on to. And so you drop it. So the only way to really extricate ourselves from those clutches, from that world, is to attach ourselves to something more valuable. Otherwise, you're just pushing yourself away into an abyss. And it's no wonder that it doesn't work, because no one wants to go into an abyss. At least now I have something. Okay, it's also a cause of suffering, but it also causes some pleasure. I know it's what the spiritual gurus say isn't good, but it's all I have. Sometimes, at least, there's a little enjoyment. And if the alternative is just this abyss of non-attachment, then no wonder it doesn't work. So focus yourself on what you're reattaching to. Lastly, when I first started doing Hatha Yoga, my teacher spoke one day about people with habits like cigarette smoking or drinking alcohol or eating meat or things that are considered relatively mild in the world of sin, but nonetheless not good for ourselves or the planet or our karma. And somebody was asking him in class, it was a question and answer, and somebody asked him, it's so hard to give up. I'm addicted to smoking, I've been smoking this many years, and I'm trying to give it up. And he said, well, how much yoga are you doing? And she said, I come to this class once a week. He said, I understand if you can only make it here once a week. Do yoga every day. Do it at home. Start doing yoga every day. And what you will find is that cigarette smoking no longer fits. Nobody has to tell you stop smoking. As you get into yoga, you won't be able to pick up a cigarette. So it's just another way of explaining the same thing.